First, we write down the data. Angle equals 60 degrees. Initial speed is equal to 14.4 meters per second. And deceleration in y is equal to 9.x meters per second squared. And we are looking for vertical speed in 1 second. Then we use the formula for the initial velocity at y, which is velocity at y equals to initial velocity percent of the angle. We replace the initial velocity at y equals initial velocity percent of 60. This equals to 12.47 meters per second. Note that we have this, we use the final velocity formula in y, which is initial velocity in y more acceleration, and this multiplied by the time squared. We replace then, and finally the speed is equal to 2.67 meters per second.
Problem B says calculate vertical height in 1 second. The data that we have is that the angle is equal to 60 degrees, the initial velocity is equal to 14.4 meters per second, the acceleration on the y-axis is equal to minus 9.8 meters per second squared, the acceleration on the x-axis is equal to 0, time is equal to 1 second, and the initial height is equal to 0. Calculate the height, we need this formula, which says that the initial height plus initial velocity of the y-axis multiplying time plus 1/2 multiplying acceleration multiplying time elevated to the square is equal to height. We're gonna calculate the height in 1 second. So the initial height is equal to 0. The initial velocity of the y-axis that we calculate from the last problem is equal to 12.47. The time is equal to 1. Acceleration is equal to minus 9.8. The time is 1 elevated to the square. So, doing the operation, we obtain that the height in 1 second is equal to 7.57 meters.
Hi, my name is Jose Javier, and I will explain how to obtain the total time in a parabolic shot. First, we need to know the formula, which in this case is twice the initial velocity through the angle between the gravity. Knowing this data, it only remains to replace it in the equation and solve it. That in this example, the total time is 2.04 seconds.
In this case, they are asking us to find the final distance. So, the first thing that we need to do is to find the data. In this case, we have an angle of 40 degrees, an initial velocity of 15.5 meters per second, and a time of 2.04 seconds. In order to find the final distance, we need to use the formula that says the final distance is equals to the initial distance plus the initial velocity multiplied by the time plus the acceleration multiplied by the time raised to the square divided by 2. Then the next step that we need to do is to replace it, and the answer will be 11.43 meters.
Hello, my name is Juan de Dios Garza. Now I'm going to explain you how to calculate the distance traveled in a parabolic shot. First, you need to know or learn the formula that is distance final is equal to distance initial plus velocity initial per time lapsed in all the trajectory. Then you are going to sum 0 because the initial distance is 0 plus the velocity initial that is 33.9 seconds per 2. Now that give us a result of 27.8 meters. That result is all the distance traveled in the trajectory.
In the problem 3, they are telling us that they need the reference angle of a guided launch above at 20 degrees. Okay, first, what's a reference angle? The reference angle is a positive acute angle that can represent an angle of any measure. The reference angle is always the smallest one that you can make from the terminal side of an angle with the x-axis. A reference angle always use the x-axis as its frame of reference. Okay, and if they are telling you that the guy launches at 20 degrees, the angle of reference is 20 degrees. That's all.